Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining Pro College Consulting's presentation of the College Expense Reduction Program. My name is Bill Tatro. I'll be your host and guide for this complex, confusing, and sometimes frustrating, but very doable short-term college aid planning program. Yes, I said doable because all that angst I just mentioned is removed when you associate with the industry leader in short-term college aid planning. That's Pro College Consulting. Now, thousands of financial professionals have recognized the ultimate expertise of Pro College Consulting and consequently have, hand in hand, helped thousands of students nationally be able to attend the college of their choice by helping families lower their EFC and find schools meeting the highest percentage of need. That's Pro College Consulting, the leader in short-term college aid planning. I'm often asked to give an in-depth description of what a college financial aid planner is. People expect me to go on for many minutes, maybe half an hour, to really get in depth about it. But I, through the years, have learned that it really only boils down to three words, and they are what, how, and why. Now, let me explain. What is a college financial aid planner? Because that's a mouthful. A lot of people think, oh, a financial planner, he's a guy who's going to sell me something, etc. No, this is a college financial aid planner. And this is the guy who has a thorough and complete understanding of the financial aid process. I mean, if they're changing some of the rules, some of the little intricacies, some of the little idiosyncrasies, he knows about it. It's not 2 or 3 years later. He knows immediately. He knows where you should be and how you best can be positioned. And this knowledge, this in-depth, ongoing knowledge, results in hundreds or thousands of dollars in increased aid eligibility. Now, does he have a vested interest? Because a lot of people think, oh, well, he might be working for some government or agency or some lending institution or maybe a particular school. There is no bias. He is only working for you, no one else. He's employed by the family to give them the best possible aid package, and he only cares about you. Now think of this for a second. It's analogous to a tax accountant who comes to you and your accountant says, you know, I think if you did this, if you moved here, did a couple things there, a little repositioning, that could save you thousands and thousands of dollars in taxes. Those strategies are important. That's exactly what the college financial aid planner does. And so, ladies and gentlemen, with the college costs for families, what you're facing today, we know that you need all the help you can get. Remember, the financial aid planner works for you. Strategies? Yes. But what about the various forms? The ever burdensome but absolutely critical paperwork, the FAFSA form, the CSS profile, an incorrect statement, an overlooked error, or even just an unfiled document have cost parents and students collectively billions. Yes, that's with a B, billions of dollars in lost federal aid. Pro College Consulting takes all the guesswork and all the worry out of the paper chase. I talked about forms, paperwork, all the things that we hate. But you know something, folks? It's a necessary evil. The 800-pound gorilla in the room is the FAFSA form. This is a form that the colleges look at right in the beginning, and it determines who qualifies for financial aid. And this form is also how your family qualifies for the Pell Grant. Now, you automatically qualify for a low interest federal loan just for submitting the FAFSA form. But I hate to say this, but listen carefully. If you don't file it, you can't qualify. That's correct. I'll repeat that. No file, no qualify. In other words, no ticky, no washy. Even some merit-based scholarships require the FAFSA form. This helps them determine the scholarship amounts. Now, in August of 2022, the government came out with the FAFSA Simplification Act. Well, simplification, I would question that word. But they brought a redesign of the process used to award the federal student aid. And it started with this academic year, 24 to 25. First, you had the Student Aid Index. Okay, that's what it has been changed to internally. It used to be called the Expected Family Contribution. Now, the problem with that, it was a little misleading as far as terminology, because families in the past were led to believe that the expected family contribution calculated the amount of money a family was expected to pay. This simply wasn't true, and the new name more accurately reflects the job of this number to give an idea of the amount of student aid a family is eligible to receive. Now, this redesign affects the methodology used to determine the aid, as well as allows for different levels of Pell Grant. The needs analysis formula, which is how colleges determine what financial aid a family needs, will remain the same. Cost of attendance is EFC, now called SAI, still equals eligibility for need-based aid. The critical thing to remember, and I've just given you a lot of information, but you know something? We don't have to worry about it. Why is that? Because Pro College Consulting takes care of all your paperwork needs. Critical thing to remember is this. If you don't file the FAFSA, you can't qualify. Leave it to Pro College Consulting. Now, if the FAFSA form wasn't, well, headache enough, let's introduce a new one. Let's add something on or into the mix. Starting October 1st, the College Scholarship Service Profile. Now, this is a document that colleges are going to use to help distribute non-federal aid. This is from sources such as endowment funds. And this profile, well, each school has its own deadline to submit the form. Colleges that use the CSS profile require more information than what the FAFSA asks. This is so the school's financial aid office can have a little better understanding of the family's financial situation. Now, two students' CSS profiles may have some differences, although there will be a lot of overlap. This is because each college has their own formula to decide how much money to award. In addition to a school's regular deadline, there are also early decision and early action deadlines, depending on the particular school. Filing within the early decision period gives the greatest chance of receiving maximum potential financial aid. Now, does this sound complicated? Does this sound like I'm adding more work to you and for your family? Of course it does, and of course I am. But I've got the answer to lift the load, and it's called Pro College Consulting. So far, we've talked about aid planners. We've talked about strategies. We've talked about paperwork. But let's get down to the nitty-gritty. And what I mean when I say that, it's all about money. Because that's what we're talking about. That's what we're looking for. So let's find out what it costs actually to go to school. I think my recommendation would be to use the colleges that are located in your state. All you have to do is Google the college name and then cost of attendance and look for the data on the university website. Now, as you know, the cost of college increases every year. Doesn't everything? But absolutely in the realm of academia. That's why it's important to take advantage of a financial aid planner to maximize the amount of financial aid you can receive. Don't leave it to guesswork, folks. Once again, use the professional. It's expensive no matter where you attend. Books, room and board, and living expenses, they all add up. And 4 years of college can easily total over $100,000. With the right planning, however, even a private, nonprofit 4-year college can cost the same or even less than a public college. The idea behind this slide that you're looking at now is that you can attend, or your child can attend, private colleges for the same price as a public college. If, and that's if, you work with the people that know all the tricks. And the people that I'm referring to and the people to work with are Pro College Consulting. Through the years, I've heard many people say, Bill, I don't need a planner. I'll just do it myself. And then I sit with those same people and share with them the errors, mistakes, and miscalculations that people make, which ends up costing them thousands and thousands of dollars. So today I want to share with you many of these same errors, omissions, or mistakes to give you an idea how simple it is to kind of goof it up. Invariably, parents that dive in with no plan for paying for college end up overpaying for all the costs associated with the college. They, in essence, just overpay. This results in families doing what? Taking on too much debt, of course. Ultimately, they reach into their savings and can eventually ruin their retirement plans. Parents who do not earn all the financial aid that they qualify for end up dealing, in my opinion and my experience, with additional stress from this looming money sink. And all of it is completely avoidable, but only if you look in the right places and take all the steps needed to secure college funding. How about the simple concept of not filing the FAFSA form? Many families forgo that because they believe they make too much. This couldn't be further from the truth. Parents do not give themselves a chance to get financial aid money and disqualify themselves right from the start. These parents also leave more money on the table for schools to give out to other students. Santa Claus came early this year in many instances. You automatically qualify for a low-interest federal loan when you file the FAFSA. As I said earlier, if you don't file it, you don't qualify. You've got to file the form. Parents and students also may not realize that they need to file a separate financial aid form, the CSS profile for their child's selected schools. Even if the FAFSA is completed, these schools now require the CSS profile to provide any financial aid to the family. Now, what about limitations or deadlines? A lot of people procrastinate. They wait until the last minute, and that lowers the chances that your student will get all the aid that they qualify for. Waiting until later to submit financial aid forms guarantees that schools will have less money to award. Even if your family would qualify for full tuition coverage, if the financial aid forms are filed too late, you may not receive any money. You got to get first in line, or at least close to the head of the line. Now, there are three types of deadlines. College deadlines. That's important when you're applying for aid from a college. These deadlines vary by school. Then you've got state deadlines. It's important when you're applying for aid from your state. And finally, the federal deadline. June 30th is the last day you can apply for federal aid for the following academic year. It's best to practice to submit before your earliest college deadlines. That's right. Get the paperwork done. Practice it, get it done, and submit it well before the deadline. On the FAFSA, some type of assets are not included, such as primary home, and many parents make the mistake of adding the value of these protected assets, which lowers the amount of aid their student will qualify for. It's, as I said earlier, it's complex, it's sometimes confusing, and it's like going into the jungle. You need a guide, and that guide is College Consulting. They are the pros. Pro College Consulting. The goal of the financial aid planner is to get you the most financial aid possible. That is the ultimate. Yes, it's to take care of the paperwork, it's to make you feel comfortable, but the bottom line is get the money. And to get more financial aid, the planner is going to go through a two-step process. The first thing he's going to do is lower your EFC. Remember the expected family contribution? That's going to help you qualify for more financial aid. You can't contribute more. That means that the aid from the government or from the school is going to increase. More financial aid awards like the Pell Grant. And how is this done? It's done by moving your assets and protecting them so that they're not counted on the FAFSA. Remember earlier in the program I said about the accountant who comes and says, why don't we just move a few things here and there and it will save us thousands of dollars of taxes? Well, it's the same exact concept. We move a few things here and there and it adds on to the amount of financial aid. And this is the job of the financial aid advisor because they know what assets need to be protected. Now, I said it was a two-step process because the second step is selecting the schools that offer larger financial aid packages. Some schools, like as an example, Johns Hopkins, will cover 100% of a family's needs, and many schools cover anywhere from 60 up to 85%. Those are the two-step process of getting more aid. But there's also something else I want that planner to do, and they do it very, very well. And that is getting rid of misconceptions. You may have that misconception that, well, let's see, you make too much money. That's right, you make too much money. Your income is too high. When in reality, families that make upwards of $400,000 per year can receive financial aid from many sources, including private and federal scholarships. College institutions provide financial aid based upon need, merit, and extracurriculars. Now, FAFSA is used to provide an EFC reduction for families with multiple children attending college at the same time. With the changes made due to the new legislation, FAFSA no longer reduces family contribution due to the number of college attendees. Getting your brain wrapped around what's true, not what's misconceived, is extremely important. You have opportunities. You have aid that's waiting for you out there. It just needs to be taken. And that financial aid planner will be the one to show you how. We've spent time talking about the what, the why, the how, but let's talk briefly about the where. And what I mean when I refer to the where does the money come from? Because there are basically four main types of financial aid, and we need to be looking at all of them. First of all, let's look at the scholarships and grants. This is the money that doesn't have to be paid back, as long as the requirements for things such as GPA or attendance or athletic prowess or artistic skills, all these things are met. And then we're looking at scholarships or grants. Now, examples include, well, federal Pell Grants. We've got the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grants, the Teacher Education Assistance for College and Higher Education Grants, and I could go on ad infinitum or ad nauseum. But there are grants galore that are out there. We need someone that's looking and knows the rocks to turn over to see where the money is. Then we've got federal student loans. These are your direct subsidized, unsubsidized loans, aka a Stafford loan, and Parent Plus loans. These things, well, these things again are out there with paperwork and knowing where, how, who, and why. Then you're talking about money as far as work study. Money that's earned through working. Yes, people go to college and still do work. And typically a student would work at the college to earn this. Finally, there are other loans. These are things like state of college loans and private loans. These type of loans are the worst for families to choose, and the terms and conditions are usually worse than with federal loans. We don't like those private loan type of things. They can really be detrimental in the long run. That's why we put them kind of at the back of the bus. We want to look at those things that are most advantageous for the student and for the family. Now, many schools also offer tuition payment plans, which may help reduce the amount of loans that are needed. As I said, folks, it's a jungle out there, and the guy who's got the machete is your college financial planner aide in aiding, and he's from Pro College Consultant. That is where we need to look. We need to look at the professionals. We come to the part of the program now where I am supposed to tell you what Pro College Consulting will promise. You know, I don't really like that, to be quite frank, because it's easy to promise. But what I want to tell you is what Pro College Consulting can deliver and has been delivering for multiple decades. It is the name in college funding, college aid. And let's hear and see what it is these folks can deliver. First of all, they provide a complimentary one-on-one consultation to everyone who's at a webinar or seminar with one of their college counselors, their senior college counselors, to discuss your family's particular situation. Then they develop a customized student profile report. It's approximately 70 to 90 pages long. It's got information regarding your eligibility for financial aid. It also contains detailed information about colleges, universities, ACT and SAT board exams, AP and CLEP courses, etc. They then are going to analyze your ability to qualify for college funding and to what extent by computing your expected family contribution for both the federal and complicated institutional methodology. They're going to provide a customized college search that will evaluate colleges that you've specified and pinpointed and that offers a curriculum that fits your child's career goal and other specified criteria. The schools chosen are generally those schools that historically have offered strong educational values with available financial aid. I continue with their guarantee and their promise because they provide access to our negotiations team. We assist in helping you obtain more financial aid with colleges and universities that offer you unexpectedly low funding. What do we also do? We evaluate your financial aid package and determine if the correct amount of financial aid is being provided. And in the event that the package is being under-awarded or misawarded, we're going to contact the financial aid officers on your behalf and create letters for you to send to the schools requesting additional financial aid. This is not a one-time deal, folks. They're in it and we're in it for the long run. We're going to provide you with a critique of your essays before submission to the colleges and universities. Nobody does that. We're going to provide you with SAT and ACT practice study guides produced by the Kaplan Learning Centers to potentially help improve your students' test scores. We're going to provide guidance to your family about the top companies for student loans that currently have the best interest rates and excellent customer service. This one-on-one consultation with our senior college counselors is part of your student profile report. We're going to file the CSS profile required by the colleges that use the institutional methodology. And we'll provide you with our service number to call if you've got any questions or any issues that you may wish to discover. Remember, that FAFSA form has to be filed every year. We're not going to walk away after 1 year. We're going to be there with you year after year after year after year. This is important. It's not just a promise. It's a guarantee of delivery. And if you look back through the decades that our firm, Pro College Consulting, has been around, we have delivered. And that is the main fact and the main goal. You see, what we're looking for is to make college a wonderful experience, not just for your student, but also for you, the family. You don't have to make other decisions about which is more important, your retirement or your kid's education. No, we're going to work with you to make it all work out. It's been a pleasure today for me to walk you and guide you through this webinar. I hope you will take advantage of what's being offered. Until next time, I'm Bill Tatro. Goodbye, everybody.